we are living in it. Sometimes we live in it, we work for it, we die in it. Then we live only for those four aspects which we spoke of. So, the purpose of mind is only to act as a lens to receive the soul light and reflect it through the brain cells into the body. This is the purpose of the mind. So the mind is working tuned with the station. You can't receive the song or music from the transmitting pole like that. The soul should be externalized through the living. It is possible only when the reaction of the mind to the environment is suspended and neutralized. First we have to suspend this reactive activity. You have to switch off here, take off the light here, make this dark and then make a light there. Then you will understand at night that there are trees and there is a big compound. Otherwise you will find that there is also another room that side. That is how we have to start. We have to take off the light in this room. Then you will know that there is some light. You make that light. You will find the light on the other side flowing. Then the trees, then the vast space, the heaven and earth. Otherwise only our room is reflected. So this is the next step. The soul should be externalized. It is possible only when the reaction of the mind to the environment is suspended and neutralized. A conscious attempt to take this change is absolutely necessary, and it is to try to know what yoga is without haste and without lethargy. Haste makes us rush into methods that are often astral, belonging to the astral. That is emotion. We may rush into foolish emotion, foolish devotion, and we may sometimes damage the instrument given to us. This is an instrument imported from an unknown foreign land, so the parts cannot be replaced when damaged. So, without haste and without lethargy, without timidity, we have to sometimes wait, sometimes proceed. There is the telephone from the higher centers, which is called the instinct which guides you. If you just listen to the ring of the telephone, you will know when to wait and when to proceed. But if you make your mind more active towards the outward images, you will rush unnecessarily sometimes, and sometimes you will wait when you ought not to have waited, like that. So, it is a step in human evolution. This attempt, we may think sometimes, do we really attempt, or something makes us attempt to attempt? Is it a natural phenomenon in evolution, or are we to take the lead? That's the question once again. Then this is a step in the human evolution. Just as we are evolved from the animal kingdom to the human kingdom, we are undergoing so many sub-steps in the evolution. This step is also there to take the decision to have a yoga way of living. This is caused by the presence of the accomplished ones working on this way. How we get the first spark? How is it that we will be able to appreciate the need of a beginning? That is because of the presence of those people who have already attained this state. They are around us everywhere. They are doing their silent work for us always. Suppose a pin on the table begins to move and vibrate. That indicates there are magnets on the table. See, the very vibration of the pin indicates that there are some magnets or some electronic instruments already on the table or in the vicinity. Similarly, we live in a world where there are people who have crossed all these levels and who have come to the stage of attainment. Then their presence we are always exposed to their presence. Though we are exposed to the reactive attitude of the mind to the environment, though we are exposed to so many temptations in the outer world, we are also equally exposed to the presence of the higher workers, the masters, who are already strongly magnets. So, a time comes when we begin to vibrate in response to their presence. Their presence itself works as their recollection of ours. They need not take special notice of every one of us. At first, their presence makes a vibration in us. The magnet need not take the presence of every particle of the iron dust existing on the table. It is natural for the iron particle to vibrate to a magnet. Similarly, suddenly we begin to respond to the presence of the great ones. That is how the beginning takes place. This is a part of the planetary activity, because the whole planet Earth is working as a big magnet, which we know from our very simple lessons in the general science. Earth has its own North Pole and South Pole. It has its polarities. It is a big magnet. It has its electrical work. It has its magnetary work going on, rotating on its own axis, and the sun's apparent path working as the spiral around the magnet, both put together making a generator of what we call life. You see how the armature, when it is having the coil, induction coil, it generates something which we call electricity. Similarly, the earth is made to rotate on its own axis, and the sun is made to make an apparent rotation around the earth, which we call the day and night, sunrise, sunset. These things put together form the magnet and the coil. Put together cause the manifestation or the generation of something which we call life. So, the part of the work of the earth is to produce the masters, that is the magnets. And the planetary work of this earth depends upon the work of the solar system. And so on. Therefore, we can call it the work of the Lord of creation, the Lord of existence, on the cosmic plane, and then on the solar plane, and then on the planetary plane of this. And then we have the masters, and we are found in amidst their presence. Therefore, a conscious attempt is a step in human evolution. It is caused by the presence of the accomplished ones working on this earth. Magnets are used to prepare new magnets. The first cause, the Lord of the solar unit, makes the planets and uses them as the initial magnets. Then the living beings on this planet Earth are magnetized into the human beings. That is how the evolution takes place. The whole process of evolution itself is a process, electromagnetic process, that is covering the mineral kingdom, plant kingdom and animal kingdom, and coming to the human kingdom. The whole thing is an electromagnetic process, increasing the incandescence and the candle power of the illumination. At a certain point, the humanity is manifest. That is how it takes place. Then the human beings are made into masters. The process is, we can call it grace. That is what we call the grace of the Lord. So some people say it is by the grace of the Lord we get our idea to sublimate. Some people say no, we make the attempt. But it is all the same. When taken individually, it is individual. When taken totally, it is the grace. Suppose you are traveling in a big ship where there is a bathroom. You are taking bath in the tub. There are waves in the tub. There are waves in the ocean. If I say no, these waves in the tub are independent, that's true. But they are subservient and subordinate to the waves of the ocean. Both mean the same. So we have to imagine the whole picture. The ocean, the ship, and the tub, and the water in the tub. Then only we can understand that the independent action of the individual and what we call the fate and what we call the grace are all parts of the same. Unless we imagine the whole picture, we have a piecemeal understanding and each idea contradicts the other. So this is exactly what the people call grace. We can call it therefore grace. The presence of the already existing magnets induces the initiation of new groups. That is how the induction takes place. Various individuals get their first start in various places, various countries, various nations, because the whole earth globe is a small one in the eyes of the rays of the solar system. Though it is big to us, it is small when compared with the mechanism of the solar system. So people here and there, Geneva, New York, India, etc., they get the induction in their own language, according to their own environment, they begin to behave, but they begin to gradually realize themselves into one group. That is how it takes place. I only wanted to find out how the whole work takes place at first before entering into the true science of yoga and its procedure. Then, before that, the new ones live as individuals. First, for some time, the instruments have to be properly set. Before that, we live as individuals. They live by finding themselves different from each other. This causes individual differences, opinions, etc. Because I may be drawing 20,000 francs, you may be drawing 15,000 francs. I may remember this while talking to you. Like that people behave generally. Because people live in this world by remembering how they are different from others. You may be an engineer, I may be a doctor. I remember it. That's why I may be able to live. This is called identity living. So we have to proceed towards the living of identification. You see, when I remember that I am a doctor, I remember you are a lawyer. Many times I think in myself, which is the superior profession, the lawyer profession or a doctor profession. Like that I may be able to think. But after that, sometime the poor doctor may be in trouble with court of law and need a lawyer. And the lawyer, the egoistic lawyer, may be having some infatuation here and maybe the need of a doctor. So then the two blind ones know the elephant better, because the story is 10 blind people and the elephant. Now at least two blind people have their eyes open. So the doctor's work is supplemented by the lawyer's work, and the lawyer's work is supplemented by the doctor's work, and there is the work of humanity. So the 10 people gradually cease to be blind. They will have an eye open, and then only they can have the idea of the elephant in front. That is how the work should go. And this individualization, individual differences, opinions, opposing, sometimes conflict, causes the war. What we call war is only a destructionary vehicles for better vehicles on a large scale to have a rearrangement in a short time. When the rearrangement is not possible in the existing external conditions, then a war is necessitated by themselves. Nobody, no higher force gives us war. It is we who create our own war. So the war creates destruction, and the physical vehicles are destroyed on a large scale, so that the same individuals have better physical vehicles in a shorter period of time. That is how it took place in the Atlantean period. And in a small scale, that took place twice in the present century as the two world wars in the past. And now the nations are precipitating towards the third one. We know it, the situation. And the masters are very, very busy to see if that can be averted to achieve the end. That is where we are present. They are too busy with the work, too active in all parts of the globe, the masters. They are creating all sorts of new thoughts and new horizons and new ideas to all the people of the earth in all the vocations, in the field of medicine, in the field of law, in the field of politics, in the field of economics. And at an international level, they are trying to create many horizons and many new thoughts. But to receive them readily, sometimes it may take some time, and sometimes it may be a bit confusion before understanding like that. So, this is the position in which we stand. A conscious attempt of yoga training, when it is made, will be ready to receive such things, so that there may not be any confusion. And absorption, this causes, a yoga training causes absorption of the reactive activity. And this yoga training makes the mind use the brain for the externalization of the soul. We can say like that. The yoga training makes the mind use the brain for the externalization of the soul. Then the head is illuminated. We will have the proper illumination of the head. You know the head center. There is a head center in each of us, but there is a head center to all of us. There is a heart center to each of us. There is a heart, organic heart. There is a functional heart, and there is a heart for affection, the third one. And there is one heart, which is the heart of all these hearts. We have two centers in us, the head center and the heart center. We have two centers on this earth, the head center and the heart center. The head center is what we call Shambhala, the language of the Tibetan. The heart center is what we call the Christ. and the hierarchy. I think I am clear about this. And Patanjali uses a word, chitta. Chitta means activity of the mind and senses put together. This chitta has an activity called vritti. Patanjali uses the word vritti. Some of you know in Sanskrit? Yes. Vritti means the reflective or the reactive activity, not the original activity. The vritti of the chitta is there and it should be suspended. Nirodha means suspension. We should suspend the reactive activity of chitta first. That is the first step of yoga. So chitta is mind substance. And our Alice Bailey calls it mind stuff. Mind substance. Of course not matter but substance. It is not material. It is substance. It is busy with the activity of the senses. Then it works as the receiving pole. You see, we receive the impression of light through our eye, impression of sight through our ear, impression of smell through our nose, impression of taste through our tongue, impression of touch through our skin. These are called the five senses. Five senses working, receiving the impressions, five types of impressions from outside. The senses receive from the objects of senses. The external stimulus is called the object and the function is called the sense. The senses receive from the objects and the mind receives from the senses. We can say that the mind is like a flower of five petals. Flower has five petals and butterflies may come from outside and stand on the five petals. Like that, it is being received by the mind. Mind is making us live according to them and we are reacting. This is what is taking place. So here we are in the center at the receiving pole, living a life of the receiving pole. We can call this our negative activity in the language of electricity and magnets. See, in electricity, the receiving pole into which once again the electricity flows is called the negative pole. Now we are in the negative pole. We are receiving. We hear sounds, we hear conversations, we see, etc. So the center, the consciousness which we call mind, that is the consciousness working through the mind, is in the negative existence. He is called the living being. Within that center, there is another center. From that center, the power to see is shining out. The power to hear is shining out. The five functions are shining out from him as the five rays from the sun. So there is the transmitting pole within that receiving pole. See, we are there once again. Ordinarily, we are existing in the receiving negative pole. But when we go deeper and begin to exist with the center, we are in the transmitting center. We are there once again. And from there, when we work, our senses do not respond to the objects unless permitted by us. Suppose all the while you are looking to me, your eyes are open, but they are not looking to any one of these parts. Suppose you are looking to such a book You will be here. For 5 minutes you will be searching the book, but you will not be looking at the wood here. Because you never asked your eye to look at the wood. The eye is open. Clear? The eye is open, but this never demands you to see it. Because you want to see this. So, this is a proof of your transmitting pole, of the positive pole of existence. When you appoint your mind towards one thing and one of the senses to something, the mind and the senses will obey you and they directly do the same work without going into the other things. So, the reactive activity will be stopped when the transmitting pole begins to work. But as long as the transmitting pole is passive, you begin to live in the receiving pole and the environment begins to act in you. But unfortunately, all the while till now, we lived in the environmental activity. And once we get at Patanjali or some master or someone who can show us the path, we switch on to the other activity when everything will be normal. The process is exactly simple, but the secret is we have to follow. It's not enough to know. There lies the secret. It's not true that the yoga is a very difficult task or a difficult process to achieve, but the secret is that we have to follow and live it. It's not a philosophy to understand. No use of understanding these things at all. There lies the whole secret of success. Why people do not succeed in yoga is because they know things, but they wait still to follow. When once we begin to follow, it takes place automatically. It's not so difficult as we think. The only difficulty is to begin to follow. That is how it appears. Now finally, I think I have pointed out that there are two poles of your existence, the negative or receiving pole, the positive or the transmitting pole. The negative existence is called living being and the positive existence is called the Lord of all in you. The first is called the living being, the second is called the Lord in you. So, we have given the preliminaries about the mind and the senses which form the lower man or the not self. That can be represented like this according to the tradition. The senses are 5 faculties. The sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of smell, sense of taste, and sense of touch. The mind is working as the center or the one who is living inside. Imagine this as a mirror reflecting outside. Here there are the 5 objects. 1, 2 object, 3 object, like that. There are 5 objects. For sight, there is the shape and the light. For hearing, there is the sound and the word, syllable. For smell, there is the substance which gives the smell. For taste, there is something, the medium is water for taste. For touch, anything from outside which gives the touch. These are called the objects. All the five senses have the five objects. And the objects are offering their presence to the inner man. And these five form what is called the environment. And the environment is presenting itself through these five senses. And the mind is conditioned by these five. So we live environment condition. Whenever the environment changes, our conditioning changes. So we go on changing, and we call it life. This is what we normally know as life. This, everything reflecting upon this, falling and reflecting. So we react like a mirror to the environment. That is what we have described yesterday. This reaction is called vritti in the yoga science. Vritti, that is reaction. And the activity of mind with all these senses is undergoing vritti every moment. But all these things are expressed through the brain cells and the spinal column. So this whole process is taking place and being transmitted through the brain cells. And it is transmitted through the spinal column and through the nervous system everywhere into the body. And the body begins to work. So the whole thing is only a reaction to the environment. This is vritti. So we can call him who is dwelling here as the receiving pole, because he is receiving everything. This ring is the receiving pole or negative pole. Negative because it is receiving and reflecting. It has nothing of its own. But inside there is another center from that center, the power, the 5 powers are being transmitted outside. These 5 powers are emitted like light, just as the sun gives his rays. So he is emitting the rays, and the outer ring, he is receiving impressions. We call this whole by the name I am. So there is a big deception in the whole thing. Sometimes while seeing, we call this I am, because we say I am seeing. When we say I am hearing, we mean this by I am. Like that, 5 types. And when we say I am thinking, we mean this outer ring by I am. So this is what is to be controlled and neutralized. This is the false I am, because it is the reflecting and the receiving pole. Now this is transmitting pole. The center, it is the transmitting pole or positive pole.
Or?
Positive
Positive.
pole. When you speak I am, if you can feel this and speak I am from here, that is correct. That is your true existence. Because this is the transmitting pole. If you mean all these things, you feel all these things and say I am, that is the not self. So the whole process of yoga now is to arrest the activity temporarily. The activity of receiving the impressions from the environment and reflecting our action. Because our action is conditioned by the environment here, and we have no action of our own. The mirror has no action of its own. Yesterday I gave you an example. In the night, we want to see what is there outside. Suppose I arrived here for the first time in night time, about 11:30 or 12, when it is dark, everything. I could not see what it was. I came that way into the house. I stand here. I want to see what is there. Now suppose I switch on the light here. What happens? It is dark outside. This light is reflected here, and I understand that there is a big hall outside with everything like this, because this is reflected. So when you ask me what is there that side, my answer is a beautiful hall like this there also. So we can't continue this activity, go on, because in the night, if I try to go outside, then only I will understand it is too cold and there are trees, there are stones, etc. So our actions are not safe while we are living like this. So what we have to do first is take off the light here. Then you have a light there and on the light. Then light comes from that side. You will understand what is there. In between there is this glass. This glass is reflecting glass. This is the glass which is called the surface of the mind, which we normally call mind. Of course, the term mind has many layers to be separately studied. You can study them in the mechanism of the soul and other books. But the total, we roughly take it as mind at first. Now, the whole activity, that is, the activity of the negative pole is being transmitted to us. What we have to do is, we want the activity of the positive pole work through the brain cells and into the action of the body. That is what we want to do in the yoga. This is the whole process. Now we have to stop all these things. So first principle is, yoga means the stopping of, the suspending of the reactive environmental activity. That is the first proposition. How to do it is the question. Next. The second proposition given in the Yoga Sutras is, when we stop this, you will find your own real self and real nature. Swarupa, it is called. What we are, you will know. Here, you cannot know what you are. So when you stop this, you begin to act. If you do not stop this, the environment begins to act. That is the second and the third aphorisms of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And then, now today, the continuation of the lesson is about, we have to know something about these reactions and how they take it. We have to know a little about the various types of reactions that are taking place in us. Suppose if we say that the reactions are not required, then we are dead, because they are required. Therefore, nature has given us. But we should know that they are only reactions. This reflecting activity is part of the action of the machine, the instrument. But you have to know which is true and which is an impression. So, when after having understood that this is only a reaction and a reactive activity, now it is not for you to condemn this or take away this, but study what it is and know the use of it. This is what we have to do. This is a revision of yesterday's lesson. Now, something about these reactions. We'll know about the reactions of the not self. There are 5 types. 5 types of reactions take in us. They are both creating comfort and discomfort. The reactions are 2 types. These 5 reactions belong to 2 effects. One is comfortable effect, the other is discomfort. Here, the reactions are simple when they give comfort. Here they are complicated. It is how we use them. If we have a mastery over the higher mechanism, we will use them comfortable and simple.
Yes.
If we are not having a mastery, if we use them random, just as we are doing it, they will create discomfort and they are complicated. And now they are given.